Hey everyone, Isabelle Morton here. I am back from the Tucson Gem Show. While I was away, February 5th was my 20th anniversary of my heart transplant. So if you haven't yet registered to be a donor, I implore you, please do so. You can save another person's life when yours is finished serving you in this lifetime. In fact, you can save 8 people's lives, and you can improve the lives of, I think it's like 80 other people, maybe it's 100, with various other tissue donations. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It really doesn't. They are now accepting, for example, heart transplants from older adults so that those older adults can donate to older adults who may not otherwise qualify for heart transplants. So let's keep the gift of life giving. Anyway, I had a wonderful time at the Tucson Gem Show. It is such an amazing experience. And I mentioned this in my last message, but I'm going to say it again because I've been going there for, years, since the 1980s, really. And this was the first time that I realized that this is a confluence of people coming to the Gem Show for the purpose of taking gemstones home with them. In other words, spreading the light and sound that are contained in these precious crystalline containers and just spreading it around the world as people from around the world do come to this show. So it's just a very moving thought for me, at least, how special that gem show is, what's happening on you might say, a higher level. Every time I go, I think, I'm going to take lots of photos. I'm going to share with you all my experience when I'm seeing all the many things. But the truth is, I am so focused on tuning into the healing gemstones that I need to find that I just don't have the brain space to do that. Maybe one day I will, but truly it's like trying to find needles in a haystack. And so I have to stay very focused, my antennas out there, and excuse me, making channels between them and us. Carrie Ann comes with me and we shop together. So I really have to stay focused. Anyway, I was planning to fly home from Tucson on Saturday via Atlanta. I have an uncle there that I haven't seen in 20 or 25 years. So I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is delay my layover, have like a 9-hour layover, leave the airport, go see him, and then come back. Well, that was Saturday. Thursday night, I don't know what I did to my foot, but it was all black and blue. I couldn't walk on it. And I thought, there's no way I can go visit them. This is my right foot. I'd have to drive with my right foot. So no, not going to happen. So I apologized. I said, we'll have to make another time to come visit. And I moved my flight earlier in the day. Well, 6 hours after I got back to Hartford, it started to snow. And out of curiosity, I checked my previous evening flight that I was going to take had I visited my family, and that was delayed until the next morning. So my foot, my dear precious foot, gave me a loud and clear message. You know what? You're not going to visit your family at this time. Go home. Get home early. Avoid the snow. Avoid an uncomfortable 9-hour visit to the airport. So I did. But the thing was, I listened to my foot. I listened. I knew what it was saying. I knew it meant, okay, you gotta just take it easy here. And it was my body speaking to me. Now, I don't always hear what my body is telling me. I don't often get it. And I know whenever I have pain, it's saying something, and I have an idea what it means, and I don't like that idea. So I ignore it, and the pain doesn't go away. And then sometimes there'll be things going on, and I don't know what my body's saying. It's wanting something. I don't know how to give it or what it is that it wants. But the point is, learn to listen. Learn to listen, because it can also tell you what healing resources you might need, like gemstones or healing diamonds. What is it that that area is asking you for? Maybe that's a way to look at it. So I interpreted my foot to be saying, go home, rest, get ready for this coming week when we get to unpack all our gemstones and start the involved process of processing them. And it is quite a process. We line them all up on a table and we show all the staff what we'll be working on for the next several months. And every one of the gemstones has to be cleansed with water and then cleansed with our sprays. Some of them get clay bathed, cleansed. Those clay can hurt some gemstones, so we only cleanse the ones that can tolerate clay, but we find that's a very thorough clearing for those gems that can take it. And then a sample of each one gets sent to a GIA, gemologist, to verify that the gem is what we think it is, what we bought it as, because sometimes it isn't, every once in a while, and to make sure that it is untreated, because all of our gems are untreated. We have a couple exceptions. Black onyx is dyed. We freely admit that, but it needs to be dyed in order for it to do what it does. On occasion, we find the natural undyed onyx has a completely different vibratory rate. And mother of pearl is bleached. And that is to bring forth the purity of the gemstone essence, even though it is an organic gemstone, and clear away any of the little animal that was inside the shell. Our shells are harvested at a farm, and the animal is used as food. And so, yeah, only then can we start stringing these up and preparing them for you. So it is quite a process. As usual, we'll have our Tucson Gem Show special presentation sometime in March, where we'll talk about our general experience at the show, the general mood, because it was really interesting that weekend, what was going on. Tension was very high among the vendors. But in any case, we'll save that for the presentation. And then also share with you some of our special gems that we brought back. I don't have an exact date yet, but watch our newsletter to find out, or I'm sure I'm going to announce it in one of these videos. Oh my gosh, I was going to bring a sample for you of the Foundation 5 necklaces. This is a live presentation and I left them upstairs, so I guess you're not going to see them, but I will tell you that this is probably the 5th trip that I've taken wearing all 5 of them strung together as one long necklace. I've worn these twice to Europe, every time I go to Portland and again to Tucson. And previously, we would suggest wearing the agate and citrine to help ease the jet lag experience. But what I have found that was just not enough for me. But when I wear all 5 of the necklaces, then I just feel very protected and very balanced. And I'm able to handle the flight and be home and get back on schedule. Now, sometimes when I also pick up some kind of a virus on the plane, and this time I didn't. I'm very fortunate that I'm usually down for another reason, but usually the jet lag is pretty good. Makes a lot of sense because the Foundation 5, the purpose of those gemstones is to balance. I will drape them over my body when I am having trouble sleeping, when I'm not feeling well, because it helps all the 5 element processes, all the meridians and so forth, to find a balance. We have some new sets recently strung up, and not sure when we'll announce them, but they are available if you're interested. We usually make them in 30-inch lengths, so they're long enough to drape over the body, which is really the only choice if you're going to be practicing on somebody else. If your intention is just to use them for jet lag, then a 24-inch length would be fine. And the ruby and onyx is always shorter. It's not a mistake. It's meant to be shorter than all the rest. Again, to keep them all in balance. So that's just one of the things that, one of the things that I became aware of during this trip was, yeah, you know what? These really do work. And they're in one long, I string all 5 of them together, very long, and I wrap them around my my neck. I string them in order, the 5 elements of Chinese medicine. There's a necklace that goes with each of those 5 elements. And I think that makes a difference too. You're honoring the flow of the 5 element cycle. So just an idea. Every week or two, I review the comments that I get on my YouTube videos, and someone was kind enough to share a fun fact. I just love this. They were saying that the expansion of space happens faster than the speed of light. So if we were in a spaceship and we were chasing a moving galaxy that was moving away from us, and we're going at the speed of light, that galaxy, we would never catch it. In fact, if we were looking through the window of our spaceship, it would seem to be moving away from us, even though we were moving at the speed of light, because it moves faster. The universe expands faster than the speed of light. Well, I really enjoyed that mind-expanding thought. I like to think the mind can expand faster than space does, and that perhaps consciousness can expand even faster than that. There are many ways that we can expand our consciousness, but I was wondering, well, what healing gemstone could give a person the greatest conscious expanding experience? Can you guess? The answer is very clear to me. It was the 7 color A healing diamonds, which we've trademarked as Thera diamonds. By far, they are capable of giving people the greatest expansion experience. So, well, that's all that I have today. There's a lot more, but oh well. Next time. Have a great week. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.